Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Let's get in some front page news. Our guest co-host Claudia Jordan is here. We got Teslin Figaro. Good morning, Tez.
Good morning, Charlamagne, Envy, and Miss Claudia Jordan.
Good morning.
All right.
Whisperer, Teslin Figaro.
Start off with the sports. The Knicks beat the Heat last night 112-103, and the Warriors beat the Lakers last night 121-106. All right, now LeBron had 25, Curry had 27, Jimmy Butler had 19, and Brunson had 38. All right, now let's start with Donald Trump. What are we talking about?
Oh, it went down yesterday on CNN. Former President Donald Trump took the stage on Wednesday night for a CNN town hall in Manchester, New Hampshire. Now, Trump once again refused to concede that he lost the 2020 election. He repeated his claims that the election was stolen. He also said that he would only accept the 2024 election results if he believed it was fair. He also said that he would look into issuing pardons for those that were arrested during the January 6th insurrection. He also said he would end the Ukraine war in less than 24 hours. In response to the town hall, President Joe Biden tweeted out a fundraising appeal that said, "It's simple, folks. Do you want 4 more years of that? If you don't, pitch in to our campaign." Now take a listen to the exchange between him and Kaitlan Collins about classified documents, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
That's the question that investigators have, I think, is why you held on to those documents when you knew the federal government was seeking them and then had given you a subpoena to return them.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Can I talk?
Yeah, what's the
mind?
answer?
Do you mind?
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to, you're a nasty person, I'll tell you.
Answer why you held on to the documents.
I was negotiating and we were talking to Nara.
I think Kaitlan what's her name? Kaitlan Collins, Tess?
Yeah.
Yes, Kaitlan Collins.
I think she was as strong as she could be, but nobody looks strong against Trump because Trump doesn't care about facts or truth. If truth and facts are your weapons of choice against Trump, you will lose every time because the only thing you can do is realize you speaking to Trump when you correct him. You're speaking to the people watching him, and that's who you have to try to convince because trying to convince Trump is a lost cause. It's not happening.
Yeah, he doesn't care about the facts, and he just cares about being funny. He's like doing stand-up comedy.
He's nasty. He don't care. He's just a nasty person.
But he is funny.
He is funny.
Oh, Lord.
Funny.
If he wasn't running for leader of the free world, he is
funny.
hilarious.
He's funny.
I laugh so much. I mean, laugh like out loud laughing, like I was really watching a Netflix special.
And that's why he's probably going to get reelected.
Yeah, I think he definitely has a good chance of being the Republican nominee. But when it comes to the general election, based upon the numbers, when we look at midterms in 2022, the country is still very much divided. And I thought it was interesting that he was willing to be very clear, stand 10 toes down about getting insurrectionists out of prison, but he did not answer the question on Roe versus Wade. And the reason why is because that is still, an issue that is very much divided, where you've had some Republicans flip over to the Democrat side because of their Roe versus Wade issue. So I really watched the things that he didn't answer opposed to the things that he did, and that was one of the things that stood out to me.
Yeah, and it's interesting, right? Because all these commentators, because I was watching the commentators talk after it was over on CNN, and they keep saying how terrible Trump is, as if that's going to hurt him. Like, newsflash, his supporters don't care. You can't attack Trump's character. You have to attack his policies. Like, there's no picture of Trump you can paint that's going to make his supporters not like him. You should just go at him with facts about what he did or didn't do for this country. He says the country, is in the shape that it's in because he's not president, and when he was president, things were better. Make him prove that factually. But anything else is just a waste of time.
Let me ask you both a question. I'm noticing now, even with Biden, I'm noticing that people that are supposed to be riding with Biden are kind of flip-siding and saying they don't like his administration. They don't like what he's doing. Like I just seen, I'm looking at the front page of the paper now, and it says Mayor Adams bashing the Biden administration over lack of funds. Like I don't remember seeing that before, but I'm seeing more and more Democrats bashing their own. Do y'all see a reason for that?
They're weak. I'm a Democrat, but I'm so tired about how we eat our own. Like we really do sacrifice our own on this purity test. We do that. And Republicans don't do that. They stick to the message, and no matter what, they rock with their party. We don't. We're like, well, let's be the bigger person. The bigger person doesn't work in today's politics. Today's politics are trash. It's all about who you like and who you think is funny. In a CNN shout out, shame on y'all last night for what they're doing.
But then also, also some of this falls on, President Biden and the messaging as well, because they had an opportunity to sell their message. So when you just put a tweet out, and I agree completely with what you're saying, Claudia, but when the tweet just says, hey, do you want more of that? And then nothing else, without pushing back, without issuing a video, without saying, hey, here are the things that we're doing well. Right. Actually, yesterday, President Biden gave a long speech at Westchester Community College. But how many people watched that? He talked about the economy. He talked about Black unemployment rate being down. Right. He talked about a lot of good stuff. But why didn't you use that opportunity last night and issue out a video? Tucker Carlson issued out a video early this week with almost 80 million people watching on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Don't you think that the administration should have put something out to say, hey, here are the things that we're doing well on? So to your point, Claudia, you're absolutely right. But they got to do better with this messaging and push back on this stuff.
Fez is right. See, murder is right. That's why I said you can't attack Trump's character. You have to attack his policies. What is everybody doing? That's what folks want. That's what folks care about.
All right. Well, that is front page news. Tesla, we'll see in a little bit, right?
Absolutely.
Get it off your chest. 800-585-1051. If you need to vent, phone lines are wide open. And our guest host, Claudia Jordan, is here. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Our guest co-host, Claudia Jordan, is here. And let's get in some front page news. All right. So last night in sports, quickly, the Knicks beat the Heat 112-103. The Warriors beat the Lakers 121-106. Now, Teslin Figaro is back. And let's start off with George Santos. Now, he pleaded guilty yesterday.
Yes, he did. Republican Representative George Santos has been charged in a federal criminal probe that, from a legal standpoint, won't affect his status as a member of Congress, but will keep him tied up in court and could result in a sentence of several years in prison. Now, Santos is accused of funneling contributions meant to support his campaigns into his personal bank account. He spent the money on luxury clothes and paying off debt. Prosecutors also allege that he fraudulently applied for and received COVID-related unemployment benefits while receiving a six-figure salary working for an investment firm. Now, if convicted of the top counts in the indictment, Santos faces a maximum penalty of 20 years in prison. He more than likely will not do the 20 years, but that is the maximum. Listen to what Santos had to say after court. We'll talk about it on the other side.
I know you all have questions. I know you all have questions. I know that everybody's been waiting for the moment for me to come out and talk to you guys. Look, this is the beginning of the ability for me to address and defend myself. We have an indictment. We have the information that the government wants to come after me on, and I'm going to comply. I've been complying throughout this entire process. I have no desire not to comply at this point. They've been gracious in there. Now I'm going to have to go and fight to defend myself. The reality is it's a witch hunt.
Man, he could be facing all of that and still not have to step down from his position.
Which is crazy.
Isn't that crazy how much he's been getting away with already?
So back to the witch hunt again, Charlamagne. So we've heard that before with the witch hunt. So we'll see how that goes. I'm looking at him probably, doing a couple of years. It reminds me of my former congresswoman in Florida who did about 2 or 3 years for something very similar. So we'll see how that works out for him.
All those poor witches always getting blamed for these white men's crimes. What do witches have to do with any of this? Right. These witches ain't doing nothing but minding their business.
Now we
ain't
also
no witch hunt. This is a privileged white man hunt.
It is. I love it.
Now we got to talk about ex-Raider receiver. He pleads guilty for 2021 crash where they said he was allegedly drinking, right?
Yeah, former Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Henry Ruggs III faces up to 3 to 10 years in jail after striking a plea deal on Wednesday to charges stemming from a 2021 drunk driving crash that left a woman dead. Now, he pled guilty to the charge of driving under the influence, which resulted in her death in November of 2021 in Las Vegas. The 24-year-old was speeding at 156 miles per hour when his Corvette slammed into the vehicle and hit 23-year-old Tina Tinter. Her and her pet dog was in the car, and she died from being engulfed in flames. Now, the brother called in earlier and asked about drunk driving and ride sharing. So interesting, because I had this story up to talk about it, and I wanted to give him the stats that he asked for. And it has been proven that in 17 studies, ride sharing has reduced alcohol-related crashes by 85%.
Wow.
See, this is why you can't call Uber drivers, bus drivers, average, mediocre, typical, or stuck in the bigotry or low expectations, because they literally make the world go around. It can save your life. One little phone call to a ride share would have prevented this situation from happening. These people are essential. You hear me?
No, you're absolutely right. And what bothers me is he faces up to 10 years, so he can get a lot less. I think he should get a lot more time. I mean, the fact that he was drinking, going 156 miles an hour and took that woman's life. Just imagine if that's your mother, your sister, your aunt, your daughter. She's never coming back because of his recklessness. Now, I don't want to say I understand, but if this was 20 years ago before a ride share and you'd be like, damn, how do I get back to my house? But with so many places, you could take a Lyft, you could take an Uber. Everybody has those things on your app. So the fact that he still decided to drink and drive and then recklessly go 156 miles an hour where you have no control, and when you're drunk, your reflexes are already off. That's crazy.
It's interesting.
Okay, Ted.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, it's interesting you brought up that point. I just want to give one more fact. He was going to get up to 50 years, Envy. The reason why he did not is because there was some concern about how they drew his blood. And so the prosecutor didn't want to take a chance. So they said, let's just do a plea deal. And that's how he got away with that time. In fact, the prosecutor says he recognizes that this is not a significant amount of time, but they didn't want to take that chance and have him go to court and not get anything at all because how they drew the blood.
I tell you what, man, I not only do I agree with Envy, I feel like with all the messaging that has been out over the years about drunk driving, like we know not to drink and drive. Correct. We know not to drink and get behind the wheel. So you're making a very, very selfish and reckless choice when you get behind the wheel drunk. So if you end up taking somebody's life, I really don't feel sorry for you when you get hit with the consequences of those actions.
It seems lately that people that have been committing crimes and murdering people with their vehicles they've been really light on them. Like if Tory Lanez is facing up to 22 years for what he did, which he should face some time, why are we giving 4-year sentences, very light sentences to people that are plowing their cars into they're menaces?
Yeah,
that's right.
You're right. And what I really don't understand is if I'm that family, I'm suing the court. I'm suing that police department. Y'all took the blood wrong now, so my family got to suffer for it. Right. Now I'm suing everybody because it's not right. Y'all effed up, and now he's only getting possibly 10 years, and I don't have a daughter.
That's nuts.
Or a dog. Or you know what I mean? It's effed up.
And that's also, just as another point, he also had a loaded firearm in the car as well. So if he would have went to court, he definitely would have got up to that 50 years. But again, it's all about how they process that evidence, and that's why this stuff really matters.
Did you say a dog, Envy?
Yeah, because the dog, the woman and the dog died.
The dog died too?
Oh, I ain't even hear nothing about no damn dog.
Yeah, both of them died.
Wow.
Well, God bless that dog, man.
10 years for that?
All right. Well,
all dogs go to heaven.
You know what?
Well, that is front page news.
I be thinking about that, not in this situation, but just in general. Like, what if you die with your dog, but you go to hell, but your dog go to heaven?
That's probably going to be.
That's what he's thinking about. That's what you over there thinking about the
dog.
Just
now. I was like, damn, that's crazy. I've never heard this scenario. Somebody died with their dog. I never personally heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all dogs don't go to heaven. There got to be some mean dogs out there.
No. That's not what they say. They say all dogs go to heaven.
That can't be true.
Even pit bulls.
All right. Well, that is front page news. Now, when we come back, do you want to talk about erectile dysfunction this morning, since it was such a big conversation, and since Claudia Jordan seems like she was so distraught by the conversation, and before a situation that happened with her before? Do you want to go there?
Who, me?
I
can't relate. I can't relate to this conversation.
I love to hear from the ladies out there. I bet you there's a lot more stories than y'all think, because everyone ain't knocking the bottom out of it, ladies and gentlemen, fellas. Y'all be talking a lot about y'all thing, but listen, I talk to girls all the time, and it's a huge epidemic.
All right,
I'll tell you what's a good question, because that woman said that called earlier said she didn't want to be in a sexless marriage. What if this man is perfect? What if this man is everything you ever wanted to be in a man? What if this man is a provider? What if this man looks good? What if this man treats you well, but he just got that ED, that erectile dysfunction?
Let's talk about it. 800-585-1051. Ladies, would you stay if your man had ED, did everything right? Or maybe you're in this situation and you want to talk about it. 800-585-1051.
Or maybe you're entitled to compensation if you're in this situation. This is a safe space for you.
Goodness gracious. We'll talk about it when we come back. And shout out to all the brothers out there. If you got ED, hold your head, man.
That's right. Salute to all the brothers out there with ED. We riding with you.
Nah.
Hold your head.
Go to an island and exist together. Get out of society.
All right. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
I'm going to get dragged for that. The ED.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.